Okay, checking. No drop frames, a few skip frames, but that's all good. So, um, today, welcome to Dicecast. We're not gonna be running any. I haven't set up any of our usual stuff like the um pre-stream hangout, the show, or whatever, because today is largely gonna be a tutorial, a how-to stream um for those of you who've been asking us some questions, whether on the Dicecast server or elsewhere, on how to how we've set up our audio, how um which is mostly what I'll be doing today, because you guys have been asking also how to do overlays and stuff, how we do overlays, but that is not my specialty. That's not my forte. That's more JP's thing. So if he wants to do like a tutorial on that some point, and I think he has, like, when he sets up for new shows or when he wants to update like our existing overlays, he does do that. So you can actually check out our catalog of streams on YouTube and Facebook, because I think that's where stuff gets archived more as opposed to Twitch. Like, we're really lax with Twitch. Sorry. But yeah, you can check out like his previous streams on setting up and stuff over there. So yeah, welcome to Dicecast today. So I got. Let me see if I can pull up the Lazada page. So what? Where is that page? Lazada. I'm guessing. Yeah, you can all see this, right? Okay. XLR. Which one did I get? It's probably this one. Okay. So I ordered this last week and it has just come in. Over on the Dream Seas um Discord server. Like people had been asking, like how to do audio setup and stuff. Also, like when we've been to events, like at Gamers and GMs session 0, we we had a few questions on how to set up audio. So I thought I'd do that for you guys today. Let me just check my levels. There we go. Okay. So this 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 cable is a really budget option for those of you who don't want to get like an audio interface or something. Um because audio interfaces can uh cost quite a bit. Um yeah, so it might be out of people's budgets, but this is like I'm talking 3,000 pesos and higher, right? Hey Santagoy, thank you for joining today's stream. It's good to see you. I haven't streamed like with you in the chat for a while, so I yeah, I've missed you, bro. Um what's on my Spotify Wrapped? Oh, a lot of kids songs because of my daughter. A lot of Ang Bandang Shirley songs because when I would session for them, Purple Chickens too. Not much else. I haven't really been on Spotify that much. And yeah, you're usually not available on Saturdays. That's understandable. Like, it's really this time slot and this day and time slot that we run into each other. So I understand. It's okay. So yeah, going back to what I was saying, like this might be a good budget option for those of you who can't afford to get like a full on audio interface, and at the same time, like some like plug and play streaming microphones like Blue Yeti, or what else is there, the Samsung Meteor, stuff like that. um those can be a bit pricey too, and like you might have like, like a dynamic microphone or a karaoke microphone hanging around, and you just want a way to hook it up to your PC, um still effectively, right, instead of just getting like one of those line to like headphone jack adapters and plugging it into your motherboard's like microphone jack. That's rarely a good thing. Aside from physically damaging your motherboard because those cables can be heavy, you won't really get, there won't be a preamp essentially to work with, to amplify like what's coming out of this one in a clean way. So yeah, because usually motherboard preamps are shit. It's not really a priority, but yeah. Anyway, this is, as you can see, it's like 408 pesos on Lazada. I think the normal retail price is like 775 pesos. But it's still much cheaper than getting an audio interface. USB, can you buy that in Lyric? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I haven't actually checked any music stores if they have these, because mostly because these things are um mostly for, I would say, for broadcasters. I don't think any serious like recording musician would consider something like this. Or I don't know. We'll find out in a bit when we test it. Because right now I have my usual setup hooked up, meaning I have my, well, this is a Shure mic, but it's a budget Shure mic. It's a Shure SV200. It's okay. It's not amazing, but it's what, it is what I could afford at the time until now actually. Um, so I've got it hooked up via a XLR to instrument jack, or the line jack, into my audio interface, which, as it happens to be, is my bass pedal. It's a Zoom B3. Um, there are a couple of disadvantages to this. I don't want to move my audio interface because the audio might drop at any time. Um, but maybe I can move the camera. But let me answer some questions first. The kind of stream I enjoy, says Chico. Okay, yeah, it's Christmas. You might as well find something to do with your 13th month's pay, right? Christmas bonus. Santagoy, hooking your mic into your motherboard is bad. It could be. Um, like if you're using the microphone jack, that could be a problem. Uh, if you're using like headphones that are supposed to plug into the microphone jack, that might be okay. I mean, that's usually okay. What I'm talking about is using like one of these thick cables, these thicker, heavier cables, connecting the end, to like to an adapter, to a clunky adapter that hooks up to your motherboard, in the back of your CPU, um, your CPU tower rather. That, the weight of all that could bend, at the point of connection, and it could do some damage to your motherboard. It's definitely not something I would recommend. Um, and this is something I used to do way back, like when I would do home recordings on my crappy PC, like late high school, early college, because I didn't have anything to work with. So yeah, not only are you gonna probably damage that microphone port on your motherboard and the rest of the motherboard as well, but you're gonna get a lot of noise. Um, yeah. Anyway, so let me move this mic around. Let me see if I can get it correctly. Right. So meaning I can't. Uh, I have to use purely uh like an XLR um to line jack to plug in. It does have an XLR out, which you can see over there. Kinda, kinda. If I can get that wire out of the way, there you go. That's an XLR out. Um, and another disadvantage of this is that I can't. It only outputs in, is that frequency 44.1. It doesn't. output in 48 kilohertz, which to some of you, you might want, the higher setting. That's not available on, yeah, on my audio interface, meant for basic recording with instruments and stuff. So let's bring this back up here. Um, so okay, what do we need? This is my usual setup. So what this means is that I've got. Let me show you what I put on filters. So on OBS, this is, yeah. So I've got this selected just to show you. Oops. Properties. There we go. So the device is the microphone. Zoom G series. That's the audio interface. For filters to make the sound more palatable to y'all, I've used the following. So noise suppression to get rid of undesirable like noise that can creep in. Um, I don't know if it cancels out environmental noise, but I've been using it just to get rid of the line noise that can be present. So yeah, a noise gate. This is what I use for to filter out external noise. So like what as you can see, like this is a very open area. That it's not ideal for streaming. And this here is the balcony. So this is not an optimal streaming environment. You missed a lot. What did you miss out on? I could just go over it again. Let me know. I guess the part about hooking up your mic into your motherboard. Anyway, so yeah, essentially this is not an ideal streaming setup for almost anyone. I just make it work for me as best as I can. If I could stream from a room that I could treat and maybe soundproof a bit, that would be a lot more ideal. But I can't, so I just make do with what I can do with what I've got. Santagoy, yeah, the part about motherboard mic jacks. So if you're using like a headphone with like a microphone attached to it, and you have like that smaller, right? That smaller like 3.5 millimeter jack that's supposed to go into your motherboard's mic port. That's okay for the most part. It's just that if you're using a mic like this with a heavier cable like this that ends with like one of these bigger jacks, and then you're gonna stick an adapter on that to to make it fit onto your motherboard's microphone jack, that might not be the best idea because all that weight could make it sag down. It could twist the that port on your motherboard. It's and end up damaging, if not that component, like the rest of your motherboard as well. It's really not a good idea to do that. Um, so if you have like a karaoke microphone, lying around, and want to try streaming with that, this is probably like an XLR to USB output uh, jack cable rather is probably a much better option, which we'll test out in a bit. Um, it's already attached. The back is attached to my computer already, so I don't want to pull it out. It's like there's a lot of USB stuff plugged into my computer right now, so I don't want to dislodge anything. But I'll be swapping out the jacks that attach to my microphone. So right now, yeah, this is my Shure SV200 going into my Zoom B3. like bass pedal slash audio interface, which connects via USB to my computer. We'll talk about it later. Yeah, I don't have anything to demo like headphone microphones, um, or how to work with those because I don't have one. But I could give you some tips later on. I think it should be pretty similar to what's going on with this R cable. So we'll get to that in a bit. Anyway, back to what I usually do to make this sound, as good as it does on OBS. I'm not saying this sounds amazing, but it's at least palatable. Not it's not distressing to listen to, and you can listen to it for for at least like 30 minutes without going nuts. So yeah, noise suppression. It They say this is for external noise, but I never use it for that because it just doesn't. I don't think it works well that way. I use this to get rid of line noise. Line noise is like the noise, the byproduct of the electrical signals passing through, the signal chain, like all the way from the microphone to your motherboard. So I guess it depends on like how how well the construction is and the shielding and stuff. I don't really know the specifics, but I know that um if you have bad cables, bad electronics like preamps and stuff, um then that those introduce noise. And like the way I'm using noise suppression is that's like what I'm using to eliminate that. Because like I said, this setup is like full budget. Like just a budget setup. It's not impressive at all in any way. I'm just making do with what I've got. um so yeah, noise suppression is for that. I use noise gates to actually like deal with the external noise. So close threshold is when you want the gate to close, no sound passes through. So right now it's at the minus 45 decibels. Open is when the gate opens. Um, and basically, attack time is how quickly that process happens. Hold time is how long the gate stays open. And release is like when it starts to taper off, basically. I've got a gain filter here just to increase the volume a bit. I'll show you what these all do. I'll switch all these off in a bit. So this is to increase the level of the signal, and a limiter. It's what it says. It's to put a hard cap on 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 the volume level for this audio source. Because if I didn't have this, like, and let's say if I um if I clapped my hands really loud, it would peak, and we don't want that. That means the audio is louder than basically what can be processed. Like you start to lose data. So it sounds artificial. Like if a voice is speaking, it starts to sound artificial and canned. If it's a clap, yeah, it's really unpleasant, basically. Um, and yeah, we want to avoid stuff like that. Just to not blow out your ears. So okay, I'm gonna switch all of these off and show so you can see the effect. So right now with the noise, with all the noise gate, the noise suppression, the noise gate and stuff off, you can see there's a noise floor of around like minus 50 decibels. So right now that could be signal noise. I'm pretty sure you can hear the fan that's up here right about now. It's probably coming through. You can hear me breathing exactly. Breathing intensifies everything. You can hear everything that's coming through essentially that the mic can pick up. You're hearing all of it. Um there's no processing going on. There are no frequencies being singled out or anything like that. This is what my mic is picking up. I'm gonna click through each filter just so you can see what it does. um First one, I'm gonna do noise suppression. As you can see, there's still a bit of a noise floor. Like I said, I don't like to use noise suppression for. Let me slide this from 0, where it's basically doing nothing. I'm gonna slide it down to. I think it was at -8, right? But you could see like the effect on the meter right here. I'll do it again so you can see. What program is this? This is still OBS. There you go. See, it's still OBS. It's just the you get to this by going to clicking the settings cog on your sound device and going to filters. And these are all built in. These are all like I didn't download anything for these um, filters. They come with OBS. So you have compressor, expander, and so on. The only thing I added later on was the VST2 plugin support. We can get to that later, but like you don't need that for treating uh, for your all your basic like streaming stuff if you're just capturing voice. So yeah, noise suppression. Watch the meter to see how the noise floor goes down as I increase the suppression level. Right. So like I said, this is I use this mostly for line noise. I guess it handles like softer, ambient external noise too. But for that, I use the noise gate. So I'm gonna switch this on. Right now it's at -45 decibels for the close threshold. I am gonna pluck the guitar right here and see if we'll see if that gets gets through. There. You can't hear me moving my chair actually. That's a good enough demo. Let me open the noise gate so you can see it pick up the chair noise, right? And I'm switching on the noise gate, see, and you can see the difference. Can't hear. Can't hear the chair. So yeah. Um so right now, the gain is off. I use this very sparingly, like it's really just to boost it very slightly because chair action. Because I like my levels going up consistently to around -10 or -15 on this meter. So yeah, so this is like a much more comfortable level for me. I like it just under like where OBS goes red. And then yeah, limiter in case I laugh really loud or in case like I really um I might clap my hands or the mic might drop like for situations like that just so it doesn't blow out your eardrums. It's set the cap off at minus zero point 0.3 decibels, but let me show you what it does when I make it a bit more extreme. So I'm gonna be lowering the threshold and you will be seeing results as I cross the where my voice usually lands at around -10 to -15. So it's going lower, 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 low, 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 low. There you go. All right. So this is my usual setup, more or less. Sometimes I'll add EQ if I feel like I want to get rid of like my voice sounds weird, but I have I have come to terms with the fact that I don't have like a broadcasting voice unlike JP. Uh, I'm okay. I'm okay with that now. What if you want better quality for voice chat interviews and the like? That is a good question. Um, so if you're doing voice chat interview, like for example, like what we did in the session zero roundtable streams, um, that can be a bit complicated. You can't control the quality of the microphone and basically the quality of the audio source that's coming in from the from the other side from your guest if it's like done by a voice chat. um I would say the best way to get better quality is to make sure that your guest has decent audio equipment. If you can lend them decent audio equipment, that's usually the best case because you know how it's gonna work. um if you could set them up with it, even like have schedule a day to like install the proper software and plugins and stuff, that is, I would say, you know like the best case. So this is what this is about. Yeah, how to control the quality of your voice and sound. It starts with this. It starts with getting a clean signal. Like as much as possible, you actually don't want to do any funky post processing like with EQ and stuff or compression. You don't need that. You want to get these basics right, and we'll get into that in a bit, especially when we try out what I expect to be like subpar results from the XLR to USB cable. So we'll get into that shortly. Um, I just wanna let me show you first like what the difference is. So I'm gonna disconnect my mic. The XLR to USB cable is already plugged in the back of my PC tower. So all I have to do is connect the XLR end to this microphone. So I'm gonna mute the mic for a bit just so you don't suffer through any pops or crackles or static when I disconnect the connector. So yeah, we'll be back with the sound from that new piece of gear I got. USB XLR cable. This one essentially that you see here. Let me make my camera. So yeah, you can see that here. Um, this end is plugged in to my PC, and this is the end that I'm about to plug into my microphone. So muting microphone now. Check, check mic. Okay, so you can see there I had to select a different device. It used to be the Zoom G series device, USB microphone is. Um, it's a lot softer, so that tells me a couple. Uh, I'm actually clicking activate all of this. So yeah, different microphones, different cables work differently, different preamps also. So those settings that I had for this other setup with my audio interface won't necessarily work with this cable, even if it's the same microphone. Okay, actually, not just the cable. This cable has its own like digital to analog converter, so it has its own preamp essentially. So yeah, the settings will not work. These settings I put in will not work for different preamps, so they are all deactivated now. And you can tell probably from watching that it's a lot weaker. The sound quality is probably very different. I'll check it later. Like you tell me like what the difference is in chat. Um, it's probably very different. Um, Different characteristics, different levels of noise. Um, yeah. So let me show. Let's see. Here it is. This is the Uh, yeah, this is the correct device. So we have here it's at 75% um, gain on the control panel. I'm gonna increase this to 100 just so you can see the difference. So it should be a lot louder now, but I also expect there's a lot more signal noise coming through. Do confirm if you are in chat, watching and in chat. Let me know how the quality is for you. Okay, so yeah, the floor is around like between minus 45 and minus 50. That's where the noise floor sits. It's kind of grating. Okay, that's bad news. Let's see if we can fix that. So first things first. There is a. This is probably the worst time to explain this when there's bad audio. But there's a process called gain staging, and basically you want to maximize at every point of control your signal compared to your noise. You want to bring down the noise level so that a clean signal, as clean a possible signal, can pass through. So the first point of control, there is no like volume knob on this cable on this particular signal chain. So the first point of control is here, right in control panel, where the gain, where you can control the gain. I am gonna decrease that until I feel like it's an acceptable level of noise. So yeah, it's around minus 55. I feel like I can work with that, but as you can see, the signal is also a lot weaker. When I speak, instead of hitting orange, like where I want it to be, between minus 10 and minus 15, I am peaking at around minus 20 if I speak real loud. Yeah, and but averaging like minus 25, which I that's a bit too soft for me. So what we're gonna do is we'll handle that later. Actually, first let's get rid of as much noise as we can. So first thing I'm gonna do actually is the noise gate, even though it's second in this chain of audio filters. I am gonna hit the noise gate first because I want to know that I am, or you know what? Yeah, noise suppression first. So that's on. There is a little more that's coming through. Let's see how it is at 0, and we'll slide it down slowly. Check, mic check, check. -8 seems fine. Because the signal is so low, earlier we were losing, when the noise gate was switched on, we were losing some of my voice, right? Um, when I'd speak, it sometimes wouldn't go through because it probably wouldn't open the gate. It was too soft. So now we're gonna switch this on. Let's get check, check, check. Okay, so speaking, when I wanted to open at around -30, I guess that is like for sure a level where my speaking voice can get through. Okay, we're gonna close threshold. Okay, let's get it even be softer at, let's say, -55. Okay, 30, because this is a lot weaker than uh my other audio interface. So it seems like, yeah, we aren't losing much, but I have to be speaking right into the microphone. So let's lower this even more. Minus 35 should be good. So I can my voice is on and I'm not speaking into the mic like all the time. And since this is still too soft, let's work with our gain. So we're gonna be using this to increase our level. I would feel like this needs to go up to around 9.5. There we go. So it hits that target between minus 10 and minus 15. Let's see how it does with 10 plus 10 decibels. I guess that's a lot more reliable. So yeah, cool, cool, cool. How is the sound now? Let me know. And limiter, just just in case. I don't think we're gonna bust through. We're gonna make anything peak with how soft this preamp is, and since it's already set to minus to 75%, um, so that won't be a problem. It's just there just in case. The sound ain't bad. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So, but I don't know. Like I feel like this isn't. Let me give it a listen. Let's see. So this is probably gonna double the audio for you guys. I just wanna. I feel. Is there a hiss when I talk? Is it hissing when I talk? Like when I speak into the microphone, is there like some electrical hiss that um comes with it? No? Okay, cool. Nice. Well then I guess it's working. Oh, it's all right. That's I guess that's okay. Well, if anyone's on headphones, chime in. Let me know how it sounds. Mm, yeah. So that is the XLR to USB cable. Um, and how I would have gone around and checked its like set it up for for broadcasting or recording. Actually, let me record this and I'll play back the audio so I can like hear it properly too. I'm gonna click start recording on OBS, like to create a video file with where I can hear everything that's being broadcast to you guys. So, yep, we are recording, and this is with the XLR to USB cable. I'm gonna go to the filters actually, so I can hear each step. So this is with noise suppression on. Check. Noise gate on. Check. Gain up. Check. And even though it does nothing right now, limiter. Check. All right. I'm gonna play back. I'm gonna play back that video and let's see how it is. I hear a hiss on my headphones. Oh no, it's gone. Oh no, it's still there with the gain on. All right, so what we're gonna do, since like I mentioned before, I use noise suppression to control the signal noise. So there's nothing because of the noise gate. We know there's no or not much external noise getting through. So that hiss is ambient, like maybe it's the wind from the fan or the electrical noise along the signal chain. I'm gonna um, increase the suppression level. I'm gonna lower the decibel threshold. And or that's not a threshold. I think that's just like how how much softer it's gonna make um, the noise level. So yeah, let's try increasing this maybe to let's try doubling it, like at minus 16, and let me know if that changed the quality of my it probably did change the quality of my voice right now. But to find out, I'm gonna record again. I'm gonna hit record on OBS and then play the video back. So this is with stronger noise suppression. From minus 8 decibels, we bumped it up to minus 16, and let's see how that sounds. So stop recording. Let's open the video file. Okay, so that pretty much handled the signal noise. I think the hiss that would come up whenever I would speak. Um, it. I just don't like. It just sounds very different from like wind. Okay. So yeah, it just sounds pretty different from like you can tell it's pretty processed. Especially if you're listening on headphones, maybe earphones, but speakers you probably won't notice a difference. But it just sounds because it's going like these are pretty extreme settings. Um, yeah, like that noise suppression at minus 16. That's pretty intense, I would say. Um, gain like at plus 10 just to reach like this level. That's also um, that's also quite high. So rather, the sound is being altered quite a bit, and so it could sound like this. Probably sounds a lot more artificial than it did when I started the stream. When I was using my audio interface instead of this XLR to USB cable. But I guess the audio is clean enough. Like at least it's not annoying to listen to. It's not harsh, too harsh. Hopefully, um, yeah, like so. Yeah, it seems like we hopefully like it's been cleaned up quite a bit, and like if you had to listen to this quality of um of of audio from a speaker for like what 30 minutes to how long has the stream been going on? Streaming for like yeah for like 43 minutes so far. It's not something that would drive you nuts or bother you. So oh thank you, yeah. So Santogoy, thank you, says it's quite clean. I would still prefer using this like my previous setup, which goes into an audio interface that goes into the PC. But I guess yeah, this is like a workable budget, so like even more budget solution for those of you who perhaps don't want to invest in an audio interface, which is perfectly understandable. Um, Audio interfaces. Let's pull up a page. Um, right. So, for example, this is on JB Music's online catalog. Like these can be expensive. So yeah, the listed price, like for this is already like a pretty sweet package, I would say. So you have like a condenser microphone here. um, an audio interface with two inputs, right? Along with like a master level, and like headphones, right? So this is like the 70% off sale price is 4,680, but the listed price is 15,600. So if this were not on sale, this would be out of most people's, including myself, out of budget for most people. Like at this price, this is I would say a pretty good steal. And the reason why you would want an audio interface is so that it's upgradable, right? Um, so let's say because every part is independent, so you have your microphone which picks up the sound, your audio interface which like processes the sound and sends it to your computer. Um, like if you wanted a better mic, you could swap that out. If you wanted a better preamp, um, or more inputs, you could swap the audio interface. And it really depends on the scale of your operation. Like as a streamer, if it's just you, then like an interface with like a single input, which would be cheaper than something with two inputs, of course. Then you could get, yeah, like a smaller audio interface. Um, if let's say you're gonna be interviewing people live, like right next to you, or you want like more than for any reason, like more than one microphone as an audio source, or maybe an instrument, like you want to speak while you're playing an instrument and hook both up to your audio interface, then yeah, you want to be able to scale up and have like something with two or more inputs. um what if I want okay, so your first question, how do you get better sound when on voice chat? So yeah, like going through the signal chain, I would say, get a better microphone. And then if I'm not sure how to do it, but if you could uh get get like software that could go between your audio device on your computer and like your voice chat software like Discord, right? Or Hangouts or Skype. Um there are ways to do it. Like I'm not sure I can teach though. Like as it is, I am very like I feel like I luck out whenever I get it to work. But you could use a program like Reaper. Reaper is a an audio production like digital audio workstation, where you could process a sound, output it to like a virtual audio cable, like what I have here. This is like free software you can get. Right. So this is like free software. It essentially simulates like audio cables, but like in your computer as opposed to like physically outside your computer. So like you can take a program like Reaper, like do the same processing stuff that I did here. Reaper already comes with like noise suppression, noise gates, gain, you know, and then direct the sound output to like a virtual cable. And then in, let's say in Discord, right? In Discord, you would select that as your input device. There, cable output. That's one way of doing it. It's a bit complicated. I think outside the scope of of this tutorial. It can be quite involved. And like I said, I feel like I luck out every time I get it to work. um yeah. So I would say like really it starts with the physical gear. So if you have a crap mic, if the down the signal chain, if the start of your signal chain of your audio signal chain is already bad, then you're not off to a great start. Like there's very limited things you can do to improve the quality of like a bad, like capture source. It starts off, yeah, with, I would say really with this. Like if I had, okay, so I have a, let's do this. Um, I'm gonna revert my setup to what it was earlier, just so it sounds better. Hang on. Check, mic check. There we go. All right. So this is probably acceptable. I hope. I think. Yeah. So for hardware, you just need a fair dynamic mic, a stand. I would say, yeah. Like if you follow this, like what I did earlier with the XLR to USB cable, I guess you could do that. Yeah. Just a fair, yeah, a fair dynamic mic like this. The Shure SV200. How much did you get that for? Uh, Hang on. Let me see if I can find. Um, Hang on. How much did we get this for? I think we got this for like 1.6 or something. So yeah, this like at audiophile, I think we got this mic for around maybe 1,600 pesos. I'm not sure. I don't really remember. But yeah, this is a very budget microphone. Like the Shure, I like Shure's most famous microphone is this baby, the Shure SM58. These are knockoffs, so don't believe like this price, 240 pesos. That's a joke. Um, on Linux, I think Reaper has like a Linux build. There you go. Yeah, it's got Linux builds, so you're in luck if you want to go the Reaper route for processing your audio. But yeah, the Shure SM58. Yeah, it's experimental. I mean, that doesn't mean it's bad. Like it's just that it's probably always in development. Where is the price for this? Let's see. Let's see. BH photo to video. Where's like Sweetwater? There we go. Okay, so yeah, like $100, right? Or $99 US is the standard price. So that's what, around 5,000 pesos. So that is the creme de la creme of vocal microphones. It's a total workhorse, the SM58. I wish I had one, but I didn't have the budget for it. I still don't have a budget for it, for that. So I have the Shure SV200. Yeah, a if you have like a this like a microphone of around, this price range and quality, yeah, you could hook that up to, yeah, ideally a boom stand, so you can have the microphone relatively close to your mouth, the audio source. That's another, I forgot that earlier when we talked about gain staging, and the first point of control is actually like how far you are from the microphone. So the closer you are to the microphone, um the less sensitive it can afford to be, meaning the less like undesirable noise aside from your voice that it picks up. So like if I were like sitting this far back, I would have to dial the gain, as you can see on the meter. Like I would have to increase the gain a lot more, and that introduces a lot more noise to the signal chain. So yeah, first point of control in gain staging like is the distance from you to the microphone, and then like along the line, like your your levels here in control panel, right? That's at 100. It's fine so far. I don't feel the need to change that. Your levels here on OBS, before that, your levels here on your gain filter, and then finally like your master slider here in OBS at as the end of the signal chain. So yeah, this would work. And hello, Dice Chuck. Yes, it's been a while since I've been on a time slot where you could come by and hang out and chat. So it's good to see you too. Um, yeah, greetings and hallucinations. So yeah, a stand, so it can be you can position the mic like pretty as close as you can to your mouth, without suffering from the proximity effect, which is when like you're right up against the mic and the bass frequencies are like overpowering, and it sounds muffled, it sounds weird, like you don't want this, and it's gonna get your, if not your windscreen, then like your actual microphone grill like gunky really fast. So yeah, like 4 inches from your mouth, that's like a comfortable distance. um that's what you need that this boom stand for, this articulated uh like scissor arm for. And yeah, I guess the USB to XLR input, rather USB to XLR to USB cable would be pretty fair if you really like if you're really on a budget. uh yeah, lots of talking, sorry. um yeah, 3 a.m. Dice Chuck, you're crazy for like checking us out at this hour, but it's much appreciated, thank you. um So yeah, this to show you like a final example. What do you mean like a guard? What do you mean by a guard? Like a pop filter? Like one of those circular things that goes between the speaker and the mic and the microphone? Is that what you mean by a guard? Because right now there's like a bit of that. So there's like a windscreen. This is a foam sheath that goes over the microphone, right? It prevents, I would say, like a lot of, okay, it's not picking up the fan noise because of the noise gate, but yeah, a lot of like the fan noise, I would say. Also, you're probably hearing, if you're on speakers on headphones, you're probably hearing like my plosives a lot more, like my p's and my, I don't know, maybe this also the whistle from my, when I when I voice out the letter F, or you know S. But yeah, this isn't like a full on, there are a lot like fuzzier windscreens, but this does the trick in, like, for me and for my little, corner of the house. I'm gonna turn this off while I put on the windscreen, just so you guys don't have to suffer through that. So yeah, this isn't a pop filter. Like, just to clarify, this is a windscreen. The pop filter is like a big, like that big circular thing that attaches to the arm, to the scissor arm. I have one. It's just I never really ended up using it because I don't need it. Like this works fine for my use case. But yeah, this is a windscreen. Pop filter is the thing, circular thing that goes between that goes between the mic, that attaches to the scissor arm. Um, yeah. Hey, Eric. Yes, I am on again at this time slot. I just thought I'd, since I got, a new piece of gear, I thought I'd demo it. Like, and since a lot of people have been asking like how to set up audio like on a budget, and I'm always on a budget. I thought I'd do like a how-to, a little how-to, a little AMA, a little behind the scenes to see to show you guys like how I do it. Um, yeah. Okay, so this is with a dynamic microphone, like online and in person. I've talked about like dynamic versus condenser microphones also. So I happen to have like a condenser microphone. So this is a Zoom H2N. Um, this is a condenser microphone with all sorts of different patterns you can set it to. Um, right now it's on cardioid, and that means like this, just like this dynamic, it's only gonna capture like what's in front of the the what's in front of what basically what the microphone is pointing to. So for this microphone, it's pointing to like the cardioid pattern starts here. It's not like this, because there's one. This actually has multiple microphones inside of it, and one of them is pointing this way. So right now, I'm gonna set it up to pick up only what's in front of this side of the microphone, and I'm gonna switch audio devices over in OBS, and you can see like the difference between um between dynamics and condensers. Like, take note, this is an very open space with a microphone like up here, keeping me from getting too toasty. And like behind me, that's a lot. This is actually a loft with a dining room and living room down below, and the kitchen too. That's where a lot of the noise actually comes from. The kitchen, like when like meals are being prepared and stuff. Because we do stream like table talk at 12 noon, so if sometimes it may get through my noise gate here on OBS, but I think for the most part it's been pretty clean. um yeah, so I'm gonna switch over to this one, and you'll see the difference. I'm gonna start out at zero gain and then increase it bit by bit. I don't have like an attachment to hook it up to the scissor arm like I'm able to do with this dynamic microphone. So I'm just gonna like hold it at different distances, and you'll see the effect. Okay, so switching over now. Okay, check. So I am gonna switch off the all filters, because so you can see like how it does with nothing on it, right? So this is as close to my mouth as the dynamic microphone was. This is at 0% mic gain. Um, you're probably hearing the electric fan right now. The noise floor is like at around -50, and yeah, the sound is like you're probably hearing everything right now. Because I don't have an attachment for this to attach to the stand, I would like hold. It would sit on my desk, like like right there, and you're hearing me more or less. Um, yeah, at around the like my voice is capping off at around -25. I couldn't speak at this volume for an entire stream. That would, ruin my throat. So I would probably have to increase the gain very slightly, like so it reaches the -10, -15. But now you're hearing a lot more noise coming through the microphone. So this is one reason why I don't like to recommend condensers for. I mean, not all condenser microphones are the same, right? But because they're a lot more sensitive, they tend to pick up a lot more than dynamic microphones. And a lot of streamers, like especially those on a budget, you don't have like a totally quiet space, soundproof space, or even a room that's sound treated right, like with sound diffusers and sound foam in all the right places to avoid like all these harsh harsh frequencies and shit. Um, you want to go with something that's less sensitive, and that's like what dynamic microphones provide. They may not be like as high fidelity as a condenser microphone, but at least like you're working, um it's more manageable. Christmas did not come early for me. Like, this is actually JP's. This is JP's. Technically, this is JP's because like Dicecast money paid for this too. um, the only thing that's mine are really my my audio interface because that's my bass pedal. um, yeah. So this is so yeah. Like unlike the the other microphones, so this has a gain knob on it, so you're able to control like the amount of rather the volume of the microphone, right? Let me show you like how it sounds when I'm speaking away from the um, like outside of the cardioid, pickup pattern. So I'm gonna turn the mic around. So I'm speaking to the back of the microphone. So like the it's supposed to be picking up audio from from around this area, but I'm speaking into the back of it. So my voice sounds a lot different right now. Like for sure. Um, I can you can even see like it's a lot weaker on the meter thingy on OBS. So yeah, I'm gonna switch back to this microphone to spare your ears. Okay, so yeah, that's I think that's pretty much all like I set out to do. I just wanted to test like number one, that XLR to USB cable that uh, arrived from Lazada, and number two, like show you guys like a bit of how I prepare audio for Dicecast. Like at least for my streams, JP might have a different process. Like I've given him, like in our time like working on table talk together, and also like our actual play D&D stuff, which was like Dicecast's first ever content, and also our like all the other our live streams of events like at session zero. um yeah, like we've shared knowledge along the way. Let me show you what we work with when we do, for example, live events. So this is what we use as our audio interface basically at live events. This is a Zoom H6. Um, it has by default like um, four inputs that are all like either line or XLR, gain knobs for each, on and off switches for each, including like whatever attachment you put up here. Like this is one option, like a like crossed condenser mics. You can also there's another extension that lets you add. I wonder if it's here. There you go. Like add uh, two more XLR inputs, which is pretty sweet. It's a very versatile setup. This thing. Um, I love it. I love recording with it whenever like JP and I, whenever we get together to do like events um or like actual play RPG stuff. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is the expansion for the like mic and line level inputs on each side. So yeah, it's got phantom power too, right? So if you're working with condenser mics, like it'll work properly. Um, So like when this is what we're using, yeah, so like the again, like with the gain staging, like you want to be aware at each point of control, like how you can maximize signal and minimize noise. So yeah, positioning the microphone first, right? Like getting it to the optimal distance, like a couple of inches, or like to, to like 3 or 4 inches from the speaker. And then I will set the levels here using the uh, the visual indicators to make sure that, yeah, again, you're getting as little noise as possible compared to when the speaker is talking, and like you're hitting around the orange, right, or yellow areas, which is around like -6, if I recall, on this on the H6's meter, right? And then the next point of control would be like when it's in OBS already, and I just make sure with the faders here that it's set correctly, and we're still hitting that orange, that yellow orange area, that sweet spot where it won't, peak, or it won't get too loud, won't get too soft. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like we use different microphones too. Like sometimes it'll be a dynamic microphone like this one. um, Sometimes it'll be like the overhead, like we have a couple of shotgun microphones that are better for like when we want the microphone to be out of frame, right? um, those are cool too. We used to use lavalier microphones, but which aren't bad, but like when we were doing actual like actual play, like in the same room, uh, what I didn't like was that they're omnidirectional. So they pick up, unlike this microphone which only picks up like everything in this direction. Omnidirectional picks up everything like around the microphone, right? Um, what would happen is that there's a lot of crosstalk between mics. So because people are shoulder to shoulder, like you get um, a lot of what, like redundant, um, redundant sounds. And because let's say I've got my lav here, JP is beside me, he's got his lav, because the distance between my mouth and my lavalier is different also from the distance between my mouth and JP's lavalier, which is still picking up my voice. Like you get a lot of it, like it's out of phase, because it's a different, travel time between, like even if it's very slight, uh, there's a different distance, and so there's a different travel time between my voice and JP's microphone, which is still picking up my voice, which sounds funky. Like when it sounds really bad, like especially when you bring up the volume, and yeah, it makes things a lot worse. So that's why we ditched lavalier microphones and went instead with table mounts, for like small table mounts for our dynamic microphones. And it sounds a lot better. Like as long as people remember, like as long as our guys remember to speak into the microphone, like it sounds awesome. And then eventually, like we got shotguns as backups for that. Like for when we know someone tends to forget to speak into the microphone, like that shotgun will be more or less pointed towards them, even if it's out of frame, so you can pick them up and save you know save me a lot of headaches in post. So yeah, there's a mic for every situation. Uh, for me and a lot of you guys, because we're on a budget, because we work, we stream or record or broadcast from untreated spaces, and not non-sound, less than ideal in terms of sound treatment and soundproofing spaces. And yeah, like I would really recommend getting anything that works with a dynamic microphone setup, right? So you could get an audio interface if you're really on a budget, but like are okay with doing a little more tweaking. And if you know what you're doing, like if you watch this video and you saw like how I like my process of cleaning up the sound to make it like at least bearable um for broadcast. Uh, yeah, you could also go with like an XLR to USB cable. Um, yeah. So this one, like this costs like around 450 pesos on Lazada. The microphone is around like 1.6 at audiophile. It doesn't have to get too expensive. This so essentially this is like an audio setup for streamers for around like 2,000 pesos, which isn't, isn't, it's definitely not gonna break your, the bank. It's very budget. It's not like a super great setup, but it might pass. Um, so yeah, hopefully this helps you. If you've had trouble like getting good audio for your streams, for your, I guess, your voice chats or your podcasts, um, yeah, here you go. I hope this helped. Um, like we've mentioned before, we would love to see more people streaming like tabletop content in the Philippines. So, hope Passable is my middle name. Same, same, same. So yeah, um, if like if you want to stream about tabletop and like don't have a lot of money like to spend on audio components, because you're probably spending them on RPG, on books, on dice and stuff already. Yeah, this is like I would say you could start like this. It's gonna be a one speaker thing, so you don't need an audio interface with multiple outputs. You could just go with the, XLR to USB cable, and yeah, tweak your settings, get it to sound right. There's a lot of resources online. If you just look at like if you Google gain staging for podcasts or streams, like you're gonna come up with a lot of great articles, a lot of great like tutorials on how to do on how to do this. Like that's how I learned how to do this exactly, by consulting those articles. Like I had some experience before miking up instruments, but a lot of that, other than like the super basic stuff, didn't apply for streaming, because I worked in spaces that were treated, to be optimal for recording, and for streamers that often is not the case. So I had to learn a lot of new stuff, to be able to help with Dicecast and my own streams on Dicecast and on my personal like Twitch streams, which I don't really do anymore. But yeah, um, hopefully this helped. I'll probably end the stream here because I've been talking nonstop for a little over an hour. My voice is pretty tired, um, and I wasn't able to do any like research into news from around the tabletop world today. So yeah, hopefully you guys found this helpful. Um, Hopefully, if you watch this, you'll you'll I don't know. I don't want to say be inspired to stream, but hopefully, like this is one less hurdle. Like figuring out your audio stuff, what to buy, what gear to get. Um, yeah, hope this helps. And if you do start streaming, with a setup like this, yeah, good luck. Um, make do with what you've got or with what you can afford, and that's part of the fun. Figuring this shit out, problem solving. Yeah. Dice Chuck. These have arrived, but I can't touch them until Christmas. Let's see what Dice Chuck got in his Santa's goodie bag. Thunderbirds. Okay. Wow. It's a Modifius game? What is this? So it is based on a TV show. Nice. Let's see what the second one is. Aeon's End. Indie boards and I guess this is an indie board game. Action phase games. Why does that sound familiar? Is that Betrayal? Are these the guys behind Betrayal? Maybe not. What else do they make? Why does action face game sound so familiar? Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Cool. So what is Aeon's End? Cooperative game that explores the deck building genre with a number of innovative mechanisms, including a variable turn order system that simulates the chaos of an attack. Interesting. Number 3 in Dice Chuck's Santa goodie bag is Dice and Dragons. It is a board game? Yeah, it's a board game where players play a mighty hero, class based, character build. Oh, so it's essentially. Oh, it's a dragon hunting. Okay. It's a dragon hunting. It's a dragon hunting theme. Interesting. And finally, let's see. Three Dragon Ante Legendary Edition. What is this? What is Three Dragon Ante? But that sounds familiar too. Like, did have we talked about this before? Um. Oh, okay. So this is a game like in D&D, right? That's why it sounds familiar. They actually made a game out of it. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. It's like sabak, you know, like when people actually started playing sabak, or what's the one from Final Fantasy with the cards like with GFs and on it and stuff. Um, I forget. Like from Final Fantasy 8. What's the card game from Final Fantasy 8? That is a fun game. I like that one. I remember not getting it at all at first. And then when I learned that there were some things you could get only like by playing that game, that mini game. Triple Triad, thank you. There we go. Yeah. I was forced to learn how to play that. Anyway, I just realized it's our first um cast. It's our first stream cast. It's our first stream of yeah, of December. So happy holidays to everyone watching. And it's so nice to it's so nice to be um joined by, like our loyal and longtime friends here in chat, Dice Chuck, Santagoy, uh, Eric and Rachel. Thank you for keeping me company again, like on this Monday afternoon. I'm gonna give my voice a rest though. I did a lot of talking. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if when we play this back, it's it's gonna sound like a lot of gibberish, cause I wouldn't say excited, but I tend to blab when it's just me talking, and especially when it's me talking about like audio stuff. Um, you know, like I'm sorry, like if like the whole audio guide whatever tutorial doesn't make sense on playback. I did my best, but yeah, this was fun. And yeah, Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy holidays, or Happy Hanukkah if you're Jewish. I don't know. Like, what are other like greetings for this time of year? Let the Esteban and Inting families unite for Christmas stream. How would I even mic that up? Oh my god. Um, that would be a nightmare to to manage audio wise. I'll let GP like figure out how to get everyone in frame. But yeah, for audio, uh, I don't want to be working on that stream. Um and yeah, crying babies. Well, to be fair, Naomi's like 4, so like she's not she's been it's been so nice. Like I've been spending a lot more time with Naomi recently because of my work schedule just so happens to work out that way. Like, and It's yeah, like she's growing up. She's so I can like I love having conversations with her. Not that I didn't before, but like more so now. And yeah, JP's babies are still they're still really wee little ones. So yeah, that's how they communicate. It's it's pretty normal. Um, the poor guy born on the 25th. I have a cousin too, like who was born on December 25th, and yeah, feels bad. I like I totally know what you're talking about. Like just one set of gifts, or like even if you get double the presents, you still get them like once, like on one occasion, like the whole year. So yeah, sorry to everyone out there who's born like on Christmas Day or close to Christmas Day, because like families are gonna want to slide it over to Christmas anyway. So like they avoid having to having to celebrate twice, plan twice, spend twice. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I guess we'll cap off the stream here. Like I don't know like what else to stream. And I should really be uh resting my voice too. Um and yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in, for keeping me company. Many are born in November because of Valentine's. True. True. Like when I was in high school, like our class had like uh a ridiculous amount of people born in November. So up to this day, they have like my high school class has a Novemboys party. They call it, yeah. They started calling it Novemboys, and it's like, yeah. They I don't want to say anything. Stream myself streaming. That's still streaming. I'm gonna give it a rest. Yeah, hopefully you guys found this helpful. Um, if ever you have questions about how to stream, like especially if it's audio related, I would love to help out. You know where to find us. Either messages on Dicecast, messages like on our Discord if you're on our Discord. If we're in a different Discord server together and I'm there, you know how to reach me. Facebook Messenger. Also, just search for Mark Inting, and then I'm there. I'm probably the only one with that name. So yeah, that's it. Good luck. Hope that you can. Hope this helps. Like you set up your budget streaming setup, audio setup, and that's it. Thank you. No outro because I am on a totally different like scene collection. So I'm just gonna and wave goodbye and say thank you. Bye. Bye. Happy holidays, y'all.